Welcome back to my channel where we have been recently looking at all of the convenience colors of my palette organized by whatever the first pigment number is in the list of pigment numbers. Today we are on oranges, so all of these will start with PO. I think I've got 11 in my palette, which is small compared to some of the ones that are to come. So let's label this page and then we'll get into it. So we are all ready to go. Page is labeled, paints are pre-wet, and we are starting with Holbein Jaune Brilliant number 1, which is PO20, PY35, and PW6. I don't use this color super often, but I do like having it around in my Holbein palette. I think specifically because that palette is smaller, it just is nice to have in it. Then we have Jaune Brilliant number 2 by Holbein, which is PO20 and PW6. I dislike this color. It's just not... I've got several colors that sort of fall into the same color tone of this really like peachy orange, and they're just not my favorite. I've tried a lot of them to see if I could find one I liked, because I do think it looks really nice in sunset pieces. I just haven't found one I love. Then we have Holbein. We have Holbein Quin Gold, which is PO48, PY150. My favorite mix for Quin Golds. I just think it's a stunning mix. And the next three are all that mix. So then we have Daniel Smith Quin Gold, which is PO48, PY150. Is the Holbein one really that light? Might be. Yes, it is really that light. And then we have Daniel Smith Quin Deep Gold, which is the newest Quin Gold addition to my palette. I don't know that there's a huge difference between the two. I haven't found a huge difference between the two, but I was happy to try it because it is two of my favorite pigments mixed. We have Dale Rowney Cadmium Orange Hue. This is PO62, PY65. I tried this when I wasn't sure if I was going to have cadmiums in my studio. I do use cadmiums in my studio with a few precautions that I've talked about in previous videos. Overall, though, I don't love this color, mostly because of the formulation. It took probably 3 years to dry down in the pan into a version that wasn't super sticky and sticking to everything, and even then, anytime I have it out on my desk, it gets covered in dust, and I just don't enjoy that very much. Mijello Jaune Brilliant number 1 is PO73, PY65, and PW6. You can see how similar these two are, even though they're different pigments. Holbein Brilliant Orange is PY1... Nope, PY... Holbein Brilliant Orange is PY73 and PO110. I love this orange. It's such a fun, vivid orange. It's one of the few oranges I have in my Holbein palette, and I absolutely love it. Then we have Holbein Vermilion Hue. It's funny that Hue is in there twice, which is PO73, PR254, and PY110. I don't love vermilion as a color, I have to say though, like, I don't hate this one. My issue is that I find that lots of sets include vermilion as the red, and I just don't like vermilion as the red in sets. It's a fine orange, but it's not what I want as my red. Cause Paints Peony is PO73, PR259. Love this color from Courtney. It's so like, stunningly moody, and there's such fun granulation to it. And then we have Holbein Shell Pink, which is PO73 and PW6. I love Shell Pink. It is such a pretty pastel-y pale pink. And the fact that the base of it is an orange always surprises me and quite often makes me like go and double check its pigment numbers, but it is definitely an orange. So let's dry this sheet and then we'll come back and go through which colors I'd buy again if I was rebuilding this palette from scratch. So there we go, it's all dry. Cause Paints Peony, one of my favorites. Jaune Brilliant #1 would definitely stay. Quin Gold, it's hard to pick my favorite. I don't know that Quin Gold Deep is different enough that I would buy it again, but the Holbein version and the Daniel Smith version are both so much fun. Brilliant Orange, definitely. Vermilion, definitely, but not as my red in the set. Shell Pink, super fun as a pink. Cause Paints Peony, like a super fun moody pink. And then Daler and Rowney Cadmium Orange Hue. I don't know that I'd keep. I think I kept, when we did the single pigment ones, I think I kept a Cadmium Orange there. And so I think I prefer that to the Orange Hue version specifically just because of formula. Nothing to do with color, it just comes down to the formulation because I find it really, really sticky when it's fresh from a tube, and also find that it takes forever to dry down. And then Mijello Jaune Brilliant, same thing. I find it really sticky from a tube and then takes forever to dry down, so I probably wouldn't repurchase either of these again. Same with this one, whereas this version I absolutely love. So I hope you enjoyed watching this part of this series. Let me know if you've got any favorite PO mixes. I've definitely enjoyed people's suggestions up to this point and look forward to potentially adding some of them to my palette. So thanks for watching.